Well, it's 4 AM on the 28th of February, and as you can see, I'm all packed up, all ready to go, and I'm just about to leave, heading off to Brisbane Airport with a big adventure right across the South Pacific Ocean. So it's going to be a very, very long day. I'll catch you a bit further along. Hi guys, I'm in the Brisbane International Terminal, now checked in. I've got my ticket, my boarding passes for the first 2 legs, and just a little while before I board my first flight, first leg. It's quite a short one over to Auckland, New Zealand. So I'll see you in Auckland. Guys, I made it into Auckland Airport, the first leg over, the first 2,198 kilometres done, and it's about 3 o'clock now, so just a couple of hours waiting before my plane to Santiago comes in, and then I'll be on my way again. Well, it's about 2 PM on still the 28th of February, and I've now arrived in Santiago. I'm staying at this hotel tonight, just for one night before I do my next leg of my trip across into Argentina and down towards the bottom of the continent. And very handy, the airport's just out the window here. Obviously not quite the best view, but we do have some mountains up there, but it is a bit hazy, as it has been in the past when I've been here. I left Auckland about 6:15 tonight, and it's 2 PM, so thanks to the international dateline I've actually arrived here before I left Auckland, which obviously isn't true because I spent a good 12 hours flying across the South Pacific, as you saw before, going through some of the most remote sea in the world. I left Brisbane at 5 o'clock this morning, and given it's 2 o'clock now, add 10 hours time difference, that's essentially midnight Brisbane time, so actually it hasn't been too bad. What's that, 19 hours of journey across the South Pacific, and I've got 2 more flights to catch tomorrow, so as you can probably imagine, I'm going to spend the rest of the day resting up and hopefully get some good sleep and sort of overcome this jet lag. Although with those windows that you saw in the Dreamliner, it'd be interesting to see how well that's worked, because I'm actually feeling pretty good. Obviously I'm always really tired when I sit around on an airplane for hours and hours and hours. Well, it's interesting coming through immigration through the same place I've been before. I actually came through here back in 2010 on my way to doing the Inca Trail, and what happened, I landed here at the same time. It was actually exactly the same flights I took over, but from memory, I landed at just after 12, which is what I did again today, and I was supposed to catch a flight up to Lima for some reason that flight actually got cancelled, so yeah, a bunch of us, including 2 couples I was actually doing the Inca Trail with, as I was about to find out. Quite an event trying to get out of the airport, and yeah, because none of it, well, actually I did actually have part of my itinerary to come back into Chile sometime, yeah, a few weeks later, which I did, but none of the others had Chile as part of their itinerary, so yeah, we weren't sort of wanting visas or anything, but yeah, we got some special sort of clearance to get through, because they put us up in hotels in the city, and obviously we had to sort of collect that bag, sort of kind of go through immigration to get there, but so yeah, that didn't happen until after midnight, and as you can imagine, it was 2 p.m. now, midnight, after a huge long wait, we were all just completely exhausted, so yeah, it was a bit of a blur really, but so it's kind of good to go through immigration again. Yeah, though here in Chile, they are actually quite strict, as they are in Australia and New Zealand, because Australia and New Zealand are sort of like separate islands essentially, but even though Chile is part of a number of countries making up South America, this is actually a very isolated country. Yeah, we've got the Pacific Ocean out to the west, and we've got the Andes, the mountains rising between 4 and 7 kilometres high to the east, which just makes a completely impenetrable area to anyone trying to, or sort of any vegetation trying to get over. And then of course you've got the Atacama Desert to the north, which is the driest place on earth. Apparently rains once every 400 years up there. And then to the south it just sort of all peters out into the Straits of Magellan and onto Antarctica, as I'm hopefully going to start finding out from tomorrow. So this is actually a very isolated country, so they're obviously very protective of their quarantine, as Australia and New Zealand is. But I got through that all right. No worries at all. So obviously, I wasn't carrying any plants or animals. So, and the bags got through the X-ray fine. Not that I was expecting anything. So where I'm heading tomorrow is actually the same time zone. So if I can get used to this time zone today, that would be fantastic. I do have to leave here about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning to head back across the road and catch 2 new flights with a company I haven't travelled before into a whole new country. So on that note, I'll close off.